Welcome back to the Law of Attraction podcast for writers. I'm Suzanne Lieurance, and last week I talked about how to stay motivated when your writing progress feels slow. So this week I want to talk about something that often makes that challenge even harder, and that is comparing yourself to other writers. And I think every writer has done that at one time or another. I know I have. It's kind of an ongoing challenge not to do that. Because just think about it. Maybe you just finished a chapter you're really proud of, but then you open social media and all of a sudden you see another writer announcing a great book deal they just got, or maybe celebrating their bestseller, or they're posting a photo of themselves with a stack of books that they're signing at an author event. And then all of a sudden the excitement you felt about your own writing begins to fade, if it doesn't just die altogether. Because you start wondering, oh my gosh, am I behind? You wonder if you're writing enough. Mostly you wonder, am I talented enough? Am I ever going to reach my goals? But the problem is comparison has a way of making us forget how far we've already come. Because instead of noticing our own progress, we're becoming preoccupied with someone else's. So think about that for a minute. Because the truth is, comparison is one of the quickest ways to lose confidence as a writer, because you just start seeing yourself as lacking next to this other person in all kinds of ways. And it can drain your enthusiasm. It makes you question your abilities and can even prevent you from showing up to write, because you figure, what's the point? I'm never going to do what they've done. But here's the good news. You don't have to stay stuck in that pattern. Today I'd like to talk about why writers compare themselves to others, what the law of attraction teaches us about comparison, and how you can shift your focus back to the only writing journey you have any control of, and that's your own. So one of the basic principles of the law of attraction is that your attention is powerful. So whatever consistently holds your attention begins to shape your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, and ultimately your actions. So think about it for a minute. When you're focused on your own writing, your current manuscript, your next chapter, or maybe just improving your craft, your energy is moving forward. You're creating, you're growing, you're becoming the writer you want to be. But the moment your attention shifts to another person's success, something changes. Now, instead of writing, what are you doing? You're watching. Instead of creating, you're measuring. Instead of asking, what's my next step, you're asking, why aren't I where they are? There's nothing wrong with admiring another writer's success. I mean, that's great to do that, but because we can learn a lot from other writers and what they've been through. But the problem begins when you turn that admiration into comparison. Because comparison quietly convinces us that someone else's success says something about our own lack of success. It whispers things like, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm too late, or maybe I'll never get there. Or as we get older, it can say, maybe I'm too old to be doing this. These thoughts influence the choices you make. You can stop submitting your work. You can delay starting your next book or your first book, or spend more time watching these other writers than actually writing yourself. So the law of attraction isn't responding to another writer's career, it's responding to yours. So when your attention stays focused on what someone else has that you don't, you're reinforcing the feeling that something is missing in your own life, and you don't want to do that. So when you shift your attention back to your own writing, your own goals, and your own progress, you begin creating from a completely different place. And remember this, another writer's success doesn't take anything away from you. We tend to think that for some reason, though. There isn't a limited supply of readers' good ideas or opportunities. Every successful writer you see is proof that success is possible. It's not proof that there's less success left for you. And when you can genuinely celebrate another writer's accomplishments while continuing to believe in your own future, you've made a powerful shift from scarcity to abundance. So let's think about this. Why do we compare ourselves then? Well, part of it's human nature, But social media has made it a lot easier these days because we're constantly seeing all this good news from other writers, their book deals, their glowing reviews, their bestseller announcements, and their launch photos. But think about this, they're not going to show you all the rejections and things they've had. They're going to tell you that life looks wonderful. And you don't see the years of work, rejection, revision, and self-doubt that came into those before those moments, before they succeeded. So you're comparing your everyday reality with someone else's highlight reel, you might call it. So I've noticed after working with writers for many years that comparison usually shows up when we're feeling uncertain. When you're excited about your own project, you're too busy writing to worry about everyone else. So that's the kind of thing. Don't be looking at everybody else so much. Just stay busy writing. So comparison isn't really the problem. It's often a symptom that you've taken your attention off your own path. And remember this, writing isn't a race. Every writer has a different timeline, different responsibilities, different opportunities, and different goals. Your only real competition is the writer you were yesterday. So I've noticed this after working with writers all the time. I remember one writer who was ready to quit because a friend from her writing group had just landed a publishing contract. And she said, "Oh, I guess I'm just not good enough." And I asked her, "Well, how long have you been writing?" And she said, "About a year." And then I asked her, "Okay, the friend who just got the publishing deal, how long has she been writing?" And she said, "Well, about 10 years. So think about that. She'd been comparing her first year to someone else's 10-year journey. And we do this all the time. We compare our beginning to someone else's middle. Success usually comes not to the fastest writer, but to the writer who keeps showing up. You might put that somewhere on an index card. I don't have to be the fastest writer. I just need to keep showing up. So here's a practical writing exercise. The next time comparison begins creeping in, take a minute and ask yourself these questions. What am I comparing? What am I making this mean? What would I rather believe, and what's my next step? Then bring your attention back to your own work. And I'd also encourage you to keep a progress journal. And that just means at the end of each week, write down 3 ways you've grown as a writer. Because the more you notice your own progress, the less you'll be tempted to compare yourself with anyone else. So just take that really to heart, because I know a lot of times writers, they don't think they're making progress unless they've gotten a book contract or they've landed an agent or something big. But every single week, if you're writing, you're doing something to move forward. So you've got to start celebrating those little successes. So this week, I want you to write down this sentence, and you can put it on an index card, and I'll put it in the description here so you can know what to write. But I want you to write, "I choose to celebrate another writer's success without letting it diminish my belief in what's possible for me." Okay? And just think about that. Remember, I said you're going to celebrate another writer's success without letting it think that, "Oh gosh, I'm not going to succeed. I'm not as far ahead as they are. Or I will never get a book deal because they just got one and I've been working for a while and haven't gotten it." Okay? So really, stop comparing yourself to everybody else. You're your own person. You're your own writer. Opportunities will come to you when it's the right time for you to get them. And I've told people a lot of times before, there were a lot of things that I wanted a long time ago when I first started writing, and now I'm thankful I didn't get them because I wasn't ready for them. So you've got to think of that too. Success will come to you when you're ready for it. So just get ready for it by continuing to write, continuing to study, continuing to stay up on marketing trends and all kinds of things in the business. And when the time is right, you'll succeed. You'll be where you want to be. Okay? So I want to thank you for spending time with me here today. And just remember, your writing life was never meant to look exactly like anyone else's. Just keep your eyes on your own page. Keep showing up. Keep learning. And if you'd like some help staying focused on your own writing journey, instead of getting distracted by comparison, I'd like to invite you to join us inside Monday Morning Manifestors. We meet live on Zoom every Monday morning for an hour. And members also receive my Manifesting Monthly digital magazine, and that's filled with articles, writing prompts, mindset strategies, and practical tools to help you stay inspired and moving forward. And you can learn more about Monday Morning Manifestors at mondaymorningmanifestors.com. I'd love to welcome you into the group. We have a really great group of people there, so supportive, and they're really active. I mean, they're moving ahead with new books they're getting published, just all kinds of things they're doing. So next week we're going to talk about perfectionism and why it's often fear in disguise. So until then, keep writing, keep believing, and keep creating the writing life you truly want. See you then. Bye.